Cheltenham Town capped off a brilliant season by winning League 2, which was their first ever Football League trophy, and thereby winning promotion to League 1. While there were several factors behind the successful season, not at least the impact of manager Michael Duff, one of the most intriguing and noteworthy aspects of Cheltenham's season was their use of throw-ins as an attacking weapon. This tactical analysis piece will attempt to decipher Cheltenham Town's tactics from throw-ins and the routines and setups that allow them to use this unorthodox tactic in a successful manner. While Cheltenham have varied their positioning and runs from throw-ins, there are some key principles that have more or less been constant, which we will illustrate here. In the image, we can see a typical setup from Cheltenham Town during a long throw-in. As Tozer winds up to filling the ball into the box, there are two players stationed outside the penalty area to pick up clearances and loose balls, as well as to prevent counter-attacks. Two players are then positioned at either edge of the 6-yard area. This is to make central runs into space from a deeper position to get on the end of flick-ons and contested headers. Finally, we see three players almost on the goal line, with two of them jostling around the goalkeeper and the third at the back post. These players will all come out the 6-yard area when the ball is in the air, with the aim being to prevent the goalkeeper from coming to claim the throw-in, and also to crowd him and reduce reaction time and space in the event of a shot or header. And another variation of their usual setup can be seen here. Cheltenham are attacking this throw-in with 8 players, with all of them being far more spaced out than the earlier example. Once again, note how there are 2 players outside the penalty area for the same reasons as explained before. Another will look to make a run into the box from outside, while the rest of the players all make runs into roughly the same area to try and win the ball, although a couple will hang back to try and find space. And we can see the difference in positioning from the previous example here. The opposition is concentrating on blocking the near post area, which is understandable since that is the most likely location where the throw-in will be directed. It's extremely difficult to throw the ball to the far post given the distance from the touchline, and so Cheltenham and Tozer usually took throw-ins towards the near post or slightly more central, aimed at the space between the penalty area and the 6-yard box. There's one late runner into the box from deep with 2 players staying back, while one player again attempts to crowd the goalkeeper. There's a bit of a gap between the near post and the far post areas, and this is where most of the Cheltenham players will attempt to be when the ball is delivered, with their movement also dragging the opposition with them and therefore opening up the space for the late run on the outside area as well. The effect of crowding the goalkeeper can be seen here. Tozer will sometimes aim his throws directly at the goalkeeper, forcing him to make a save in this manner. Of course, Tozer cannot directly score from a throw, but given the massive bodies around the goalkeeper, it creates a lot of confusion and doubt, with just a faint touch from an outside player needed to send the ball into the goal. It's also important to note that Cheltenham use long throws across the pitch, not just in the vicinity of the penalty area. While Tozer was the long throw taker for attacking the box, the rest of the defence, including Sean Long, Will Boyle, Chris Hussey and Charlie Raglan, all took throws in deeper areas. Note just how far the ball is thrown here, with the Cheltenham player contesting the aerial duel just a few yards from the halfway line, from a throw that was taken level with his own penalty area. Of course, it is the use of throw-ins as an attacking tactic, akin to a set-piece situation, that has attracted all the attention. We've already shown a couple of the standard setups used by Cheltenham during the season, and we'll now try to look at a few routines from within those initial setups. Again, note some of the key principles in play here, as discussed earlier. Men outside the penalty area to mop up clearances, one player making a late run towards the far post, and the rest of the players all rushing towards the near post to drag defenders out and create space. We can also see how they have crowded the goalkeeper here to prevent him from being able to come out and claim the throw. In this case, the Cheltenham player wins the initial header, flicking it for Alfie May at the far post, but the ball was just a little too far and he cannot give a clean connection onto his shot. However, the space at the far post is quite visible here, with the opposition all getting drawn to the next post. Another example here, with a slightly different setup, as there are 2 players on the goal line and 2 making runs into the near post area. Again, the Cheltenham player wins the initial header and is able to flick it onto the back post, where it just evades his teammate, who held his run and stayed at the far post rather than coming out to the near post. Thus, there are slight variations in terms of the runs and position of individual players, but the basic structure seems to be the same: crowd the near post or the central area and try to win the initial header to flick it onto a teammate in space at the far post. Here's another example where this strategy worked perfectly, but the goalkeeper was able to make a good save. The throw is aimed towards the near post with the players moving out to contest it, and the Cheltenham player wins the ball in the air again, flicking it on for his teammate who is in space at the far post. He manages to put his header on target, but the goalkeeper is able to scramble across his line and make a save. Also, note there is another teammate who could have potentially run into the same space had this player also made a run towards the near post. This has been quite an innovative tactic from Cheltenham Town. Most teams only use throw-ins towards the end of matches where they are losing, and two, as a desperate attempt to get the ball into the box quickly rather than through any well-coached routines. However, this is a strategy that has definitely worked for them, given that Tozer had 7 assists in League 2 as well as 6 indirect assists, where a goal was scored following one of his throws. And this set piece routine has been a breath of fresh air to watch. This analysis was written by Harshal Patel over on the Total Football Analysis website, which you can go and check out. The link will be in the description below. Unfortunately, that is the end of this video. My name is RDF and it has been a pleasure recording this video for you guys. I will speak to you guys soon, but before we go, make sure you have liked this video, make sure you are subscribed, and also make sure you leave a comment on anything you would like to see next. My name is RDF, I will see you soon, stay safe, peace out.